Hi, welcome back to Empty Plates Full Stories, where I am with Brandon from the Salvation Army, where I'm just going to ask him a couple questions. So the first question that I have is, when people hear the term food insecurity, what does it actually look like in real life for families in Evansville?
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yes, of course.
I love the name of the podcast, by the way. I think it speaks deeply to our mission, to our programs, to our services, to the people that we serve every day. Food insecurity, people hear that term and they think that it just encompasses food. But food insecurity is a foundational pillar um, uh, in our community. Food security is. It's something that when you take that away, a whole lot of other building blocks start to crumble. And so food insecurity for us is less about food, but about the person who is behind it, or the family that's behind it, and how through helping someone stabilize food resources in their future, access food resources in their present, that we're able to impact hopefully a larger family behind that, but also a community that stands with them as well.
That's wonderful. So, what are some common misconceptions people have about who needs just food and assistance?
It's a good question. At the Salvation Army, we view everyone as an individual. We work hard to lower barriers to accessing our services. We have our daily feeding program every day from 11 to 1 p.m. And then twice a week, we also have a food pantry for families to come in and access. Even within food pantry, both days we have it, Mondays and Wednesdays, we take two very different approaches on both of those days to giving families the opportunity to access food at the Salvation Army. Because we understand that for many people, having to come and ask for help, there can be shame. There can be an emotional barrier. There can be even sometimes a mental barrier as well. And so we're constantly thinking through, how can we enable families who need a helping hand to come in and access resources that they need. Everyone who comes through our doors is a person. We work hard to know them, to know their names, to know their stories, to know that there's so much more about who they are than just wanting to come in to our feeding programs. They have whole lives that they've lived. And in some cases, that could be 60, 70 years. And we have the opportunity to get to know them. People are people. We get to love them. We get to understand them. The thing that I love most about the Salvation Army is the mission is an umbrella that different people can gather underneath. And those people are going to be from walks of life in shapes and sizes and from backgrounds that in your everyday normal life you would never encounter. But we have the privilege of being able to invite as many people under that umbrella as possible, stripping away any labels that society might give them and just getting to know them as people. We find that to be a very successful way of building relationships with our community, getting to know our neighbors, whether they need help or whether they don't.
I really like that analogy of being under the umbrella. You said something about on Tuesdays and Thursdays that there are different ways that you would feed families. Can you go a little deeper in that?
Yeah. So we have food pantry that takes place Mondays and Wednesdays. On Mondays, we have what we call self-shop day. Families can come in and access our food shelf and shop for themselves. We give our volunteers guidelines for different sizes of families, but we tailor the experience to the dietary needs of each family unit. We also want to be sensitive to any other restrictions the family might have, either due to religious reasons or cultural concerns as well. And so we give our volunteers general guidelines. Families can come in and they're partnered with a volunteer from the moment they step foot into our building. That volunteer is trained not only to listen, but also to learn more about them. And the family is able to shop for themselves. What we found, though, is sometimes a family doesn't want to have that experience. They would rather come in and pick up a box of food to take it to their neighbor.
Yeah.
And so on Wednesdays, we have food boxes to go. People can come in, they fill out a little card outlining the size of their family, dietary restrictions, any other health concerns that it might be appropriate for us to know. And our volunteers take that, build a customized food box for them or their neighbor, and then we load it into their car. We ask them if there's anything that we can pray for and anything else that we can help serve them with, and they go about their way.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that so much. So what do you see as the biggest factors driving food insecurity locally, like income, transportation, food prices, or something else that you may know?
All the above.
All of the above.
It is a cycle, and families are trapped in the poverty cycle. Sometimes just by one of those pillars you mentioned falling away. We say on our team, all of our staff have heard my wife and I preach this to them. All of us are one bad day away from being on the other side of the counter.
Yeah.
All of those things you mentioned, income, transportation, grocery store prices. It could even be losing a family member. It could be relapsing into addiction. All of those are central pillars to someone's existence. You remove one of them, and that puts that family or person at even more risk of falling below the poverty line.
Yeah.
What we've found is that once someone's trapped in that cycle of poverty, it's very, very difficult for them to get out. And any of those pillars you mentioned are massive factors to perpetuating food insecurity here locally.
Wow. Honestly, when you were talking about that kind of like that hit kind of deep, you know. That was a little crazy. So how does food insecurity affect children and families on a day-to-day basis, like just beyond hunger?
Yeah. Food is so much more than just a plate of items on your dinner table. I think of as a parent, I have 2 kids at home, and I'm constantly grocery planning and meal planning and trying to grocery shop and stay ahead of it. And my wife and I joke to each other that putting food on the table for our household is less of a task you do and more of a way of life. You're always thinking about it. And we think through in our roles, what would it be like if that was taken away? What would it be like if there were massive barriers for us to be able to even go to the grocery store and shop for what we need and take care of our kids? And so you can put yourself in that perspective and think, if I wasn't able to go to the grocery store and pull out my debit card and pay for my groceries, what would happen in my life? It affects so much more than just social or economic stability. It affects that person at the very core of who they are. As parents and as adults, we are conditioned to provide. We are driven to provide. And our kids or our other members of our household look to us to provide for them. When that ability is restricted or sometimes taken away entirely, it changes someone fundamentally. It affects your identity. It affects your view of the world. It affects your perspective on living long term. Has a tremendous impact on who you are. You take away that from someone's life, and it starts to change them and impact them on a fundamental level. So the question that we ask is, when someone comes in and asks for assistance, what are the other things floating beneath the surface that we can come along and wrap our arms around this person or this family and help serve them? How can we boost them up in other ways? Sometimes it's feeling socially isolated. There can be shame on someone when they're not able to provide. How can we invite them in to be part of a larger community where we can strip away that shame? We can strip away that social pressure for them to have to feel like they play a role or have to play a role, the expectation they put on themselves. Sometimes it's engaging them in a spiritual capacity. We're a Christian organization. We do not make spiritual services a requirement for any of our programs. It's something that we offer everyone. We all, in our own capacity, have a deep intrinsic desire to be a part of something larger than ourselves. Food insecurity, it's like putting blinders on your eyes. And so how can we remove those blinders from someone, invite them in to be a community who wants to see them succeed and thrive and be stable in the future?
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can only imagine how hard that is to even like step out and like ask for help.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I have a hard time asking for help. And that's like with anything, and not necessarily trying to like get food, but like just anything in general, because I just have that thing where I'm like, no, I can actually do it. Like I have, like
we all do. We all want to be able to provide something for ourselves. We all have a level of determination. We all have a level of strength of spirit where we want to be the ones to go out and accomplish something.
Yeah.
There's a thought exercise that we use in our team. And remember, we're training new volunteers. Imagine you go to get on the bus and you're taking the local public transportation and you forget your bus pass. Let's say you left it at home or you misplaced it in your purse somewhere, and you have to ask someone to get you a bus pass. Now take that feeling and apply it to having to figure out how you're going to provide dinner for you and your kids without having the resources to go to the grocery store and buy it. That's what so many members of our community are facing. And so our mission can't just be to put food in their bellies. Our mission has to be something greater, which is coming around that person, surrounding them with support, getting to know them as a person so that we can lift up every part of their lives. Our people are so worthy of that mission, and we work hard to make that the case.
That's amazing. So what role does the Salvation Army play in addressing food insecurity in Evansville, and how has demand changed in the recent years?
One of the best qualities of Evansville that I've noticed, I've been here since 2023, my wife and I have. One of the qualities that we noticed immediately is that there is this sense of partnership and camaraderie in the nonprofit community. We're all working together and want to be working together to meet human need. And so if there's an area that we can't reach, then we reach out to another partner who is able to step into that area. And what we've seen with that is more opportunities to tap into food insecurity and address food insecurity at the social level. Back in 2023, the Salvation Army was one of the primary providers of food towards the Evansville community. We still are in a large capacity. But what we've seen is more and more partnerships expand under the Salvation Army umbrella. And we've been blessed to be the agency, one of the agencies, to take the lead on bringing more and more people together. I think about our food pantry. This past week, we were able to partner with Feed Evansville. Lisa Vaughn is a phenomenal partner of ours, and Tri-State Food Bank to add more food resources to our food kitchen. We have partnerships with Parlor Donuts, one of our favorites.
Oh, yeah.
To bring in dozens of fresh donuts every week for our feeding program.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's so many opportunities that are out there for the nonprofit community to get engaged, to bind together, because this is not an issue that just one of us can solve on an island. We can't be naive enough to believe that. It's only by working together can we accomplish the goal. Even then, we still see the need. We're talking about, in the past year, about 115,000 meals the Salvation Army has provided. That is a 20% increase from 2024, close to a 30% increase from 2021. Wow. Even post-COVID, we're seeing the need rise. And as the number of opportunities for food access increases, that need is still increasing. It's good on one hand because there's more opportunities for the community to come around our neighbors in need. Yeah. And it's also a concern because we're seeing more and more families slip through the cracks and be affected by economic and social instability. Having those pillars we talked about earlier slowly pulled away from people's lives means that need is going to start increasing more. So the need is increasing. The number of opportunities to meet that need is also increasing. And we're still able to serve a really good number of people every week. the motto that we have is we one day would like to work ourselves out of a job.
Yeah.
It would be a blessing if one day we arrived at the point where no one had to come into our feeding program for lunch. That would be a blessing because it meant that there's no more hungry families. There's no more hungry kids.
Yeah.
We still got a lot of work to get there.
Yeah, of course. I really like that. I really like that. So what are the biggest challenges your organization faces when you try to meet the growing need?
Funding is number one. I think anyone in the nonprofit world would tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Funding dollars are post-pandemic are even more strict probably than where they were before. And food insecurity especially. I think that there's from some there's a hesitancy around food insecurity. It's difficult to quantify for some people. It's difficult for us to understand unless you're in the room with someone who's facing this problem. But funding is key. Our feeding program, we serve 200 to 300 people a day just for lunch from 11 to 1. And we do our best with a tight budget, but we're always wanting to invest more people into the fabric of our mission. People who, even if it's $50, that can serve 100 families in a week. We can make those dollars stretch even more. So like anyone in the nonprofit world would tell you, I think funding is number one.
Yeah.
But also resources with volunteers. All of our feeding opportunities, our food pantry and our feeding kitchen, even our food programs during the seasonal time during Christmas are all volunteer run.
Oh, wow.
All of them are volunteer run.
That's amazing.
We use about 15 volunteers a day for our feeding program. And so it's not just financial resources. We always say that everyone has time, talent, and treasure they can share. Some of us may not be able to share treasure, but you can share your time.
Yeah.
We're always looking for more helping hands. You can play a direct role in helping someone's life. There's something that changes within you when you give a plate of food to a child, knowing that that's the only meal that they eat that day.
Yeah.
There is something within you that I think awakens as a volunteer, where you then say to yourself, I want to play a bigger role in changing my community, in addressing this problem at the social and economic level.
Yeah. I've done some stuff like that back at home. So I live in Florence, Kentucky, like 20 minutes south of Cincinnati. And I mean, like, there's this place that's like in Newport going towards Cincinnati that I used to go with my brothers when they were in Boy Scouts. So they would like help out and serve meals and stuff. So like I would go and help out with them. And I mean, like, it hurt my heart. I'm not gonna lie, with the amount of little kids and like people that like I was helping serve and I was giving them like, and I remember specifically some people would come up and be like, your kindness means everything to me. And it's just like, kindness goes a long way. And I mean, like, that honestly made my day, helping other people out. And I feel like other people could definitely benefit from that too.
Absolutely. And I think in 30 years, you'll still remember that experience.
Oh, yeah.
You still remember the look on that person's face. You still remember probably how they're dressed. And that'll never leave you.
No.
Because it's in that moment that something that's greater than a transaction. There's something at a human level that happens. And it makes you wonder how you may think of yourself as a small part of the community, whether you're a student like yourself or you are working at a reception office or whatever capacity you have. You may think that you're incapable of changing the community, and that's simply not the case. Even by giving someone a plate of food, you are making a difference in moving the needle forward in the life of someone. That is changing the community, and you'll never forget that experience.
No.
It'll never leave you.
No.
And hopefully you can use that to inspire more people in the future who will then pass that passion on to others, and the help will multiply.
Yeah. I just have a couple more questions. So are there any partnerships or community efforts that have made a real difference in fighting hunger locally? I know you said something about Feed Evansville with Lisa Vaughn, but are there any other partners at all?
Yeah. One of the privileges that we've had in the past 2 years is to sit on the Evansville Commission on Food Security. We work with Bedford CoLab, Feed Evansville, Tri-State Food Bank, many, many more partners. We all work together collaboratively to meet human need, to create more opportunities, whether we are in a what we call normal time, or whether, especially if it's a disaster time, when we have a disaster event that occurs. Regardless of the circumstances, we want to be able to have as many opportunities to change people's lives through food service and programming as possible. And those opportunities have gone a long way to helping build more partnerships for all of us in the nonprofit community. We share at city council meetings. We take an initiative and emphasis on building relationships at the ground level. So Feed Evansville is a prime example. If we have extra stock that we can't give out, then we call Lisa, and she has more opportunities to be able to give that out. Last week, we had a donor who called who wanted to give us some chicken, but the chicken needed to be repackaged. We don't have the resources to be able to do that, but Bedford CoLab and Feed Evansville do. So we call them, we transport the chicken to them. They're able to package it in their mobile kitchens and give it out to other food pantries who can then give it out to their neighbors. Collaborations like that, where we look at a problem and say, I can't do this, I'm going to throw it away. Or you can look at a resource or a problem and say, I can't solve this, but I can call someone who can. Through that one little action, we're able to take some chicken and multiply it to 15 food pantries. 15. And that chicken will go to serve 100, 200 people. Whereas if we were to just say, sorry, no, we can't do it, just say no at all, 200 families wouldn't be able to have food resources, potentially. So taking the time for us, the ownership is on our part as a partner in this network to be able to pick up the phone and say, there's a problem that I can't solve, but how can we work together to do it? It goes a long way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So if someone in Evansville wants to help but doesn't know exactly where to start, what would you recommend them to do?
2 ways. Number one, check us out on Facebook, Salvation Army of Vanderburgh, Warwick, and Posey County. We post about 4 or 5 times a day. Get involved on our email list. Follow the link on there to our website, which is saevansville.org. All of our volunteer information is right there on our front page. Click on the link. It's super easy to get involved. We have a staff member dedicated to helping you problem solve the system. So if you have any issues, you can reach out. Her name is Rachel, and she'd love to help you out with it.
That's perfect.
And we'll walk you through the whole process. We'll get to know you and what you're looking to get connected into. And if you want to come serve on a Thursday for our lunch, we'll slot you in. We'll orient you, introduce you to the team, and help you get involved. So either our website, saevansville.org, or Facebook, Salvation Army of Vanderburgh, Warwick, Posey County.
That's amazing. And that's all the questions that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And that is it for our 6th podcast episode today on Empty Plates Full Stories. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next time.